Greetings to you all once again. My name is Buhle Hlatshwa. You're also known as Buhle the Voice. And we're here at the Mining Industry Study Centre at the University of Pretoria for the SAICE PPS Roadshow. And the whole basis of today's roadshow is to get students interested in joining SAICE, because we all know that there's a lot of benefits when joining an institution, especially if you're a civil engineer. Let's go inside and see what they've got in store for all of us and the students. Joining me here is Vice Chair of SAICE Young Members, Mr. Avi Menon. Avi, thank you so much for joining us on SAICE Joburg TV.
Thank you. Thanks for covering us. Thanks for being here.
All right. So, looking back at the address that you gave earlier on, you were focusing on branding yourself. How important is that as an individual and as a graduate who's about to enter the civil engineering industry?
I think it's very important to brand yourself. The brand, you need to speak, or the brand needs to speak for itself. So you need to come off as a professional who is a civil engineer, and you need to know, you know what you're doing. So when companies interview people, you need to stand out as compared to all your peers. So long and the short, yes, it's important, very important.
It's often said that the first impression always lasts, and I think for that, in a sense, when we talk about jobs and as well as industries, it all starts with the CV. What are the most important things that one needs to include in their CV in order for them to stand out?
I think, like I said, if there's any experience that you have, work experience, even if it's a part-time job, I think it's important to show it, because when a student graduates and it's his first job, he doesn't have any experience. So for the employer to know why one candidate stands out as compared to the other, I would include any sort of experience that you have, any sort of awards, also awards that you've got. And even if you're volunteered in any organization, be it a church or be it a built environment institution, I would put it down on the CV.
I'm joined here by the SAICE President of 2017, Mr. Sanjan Naika. Mr. President, thank you for joining us on SAICE Johannesburg TV.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I want to start off by asking you, how important is it for students to join SAICE?
Look, we've been through a whole process inside now to explain to them why. It's absolutely critical. Manglin's alluded to, as the CEO of SAICE, is alluded to the culture of engineering. And really what SAICE is, it fosters that culture of engineering. More than that, it is a learning society. So post your graduation, it's critical for you to improve your development and learning through what they called IPD. So it's absolutely critical.
Right, and lastly, I'd like to ask you, what is your message to the students and graduates who are soon transitioning from being a student to being an employee?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, as I said. There's many messages you can give them, but I think the fundamental one and most important for our current day engineers is that they must be true to themselves, and ultimately not forget where they came from. I think they need to remember their heritage and be able to apply back into their communities once they've become engineers.
I'm joined here once again by the CEO of SAICE, Mr. Manglin Pillay. Manglin, thank you so much for joining us once again on SAICE Joburg TV.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks very much.
So I want to start off by asking you, how important is it for a student after completing their studies registering, or should I say going for professional registration in the civil engineering industry?
I think it's absolutely vital, because professional registration with the Engineering Council of South Africa is the only indicator that we have in South Africa for competency, for showcasing experience, and mostly for developing a sense of responsibility. And if that's what we have in this country, then that's what the graduates need to follow through. Not only that, not only just to register, but to undergo the program required to eventually register with the Engineering Council of South Africa.
So being a part of SAICE as a member, how important is that for a student's foundation in civil engineering?
Yeah, well, I think that's also quite important, because that's the environment in which civil engineering practitioners hang out. In loose terms, it's a club for civil engineering practitioners. It's good for students to be part of the institution because, firstly, membership is largely free. Largely free means that you would pay your the first year of membership is free, and the other 3 years, if you applied for free membership, then you would get free membership. So it doesn't cost much to be a member of SAICE. You get to learn the intimate differences between the various sectors within civil engineering. All of that are benefits one derives when he or she is a member of the institution. So there's tremendous benefit, and I always say to people, it's you will learn the benefits once you're in the institution and you're actively engaged, participating, attending the meetings, hooking up with the network that SAICE provides.
And that was it from the SAICE PPS Roadshow at the University of Pretoria. I really hope that you're just as inspired as I am today. From myself, Buhle the Voice, it's until the next event.